Okay, Gen 2 will come out, but I've been having trouble recording it. I've done it like 4 times, and I've hated it every single time. So, in the meantime, I'm going to do another quick book review, Sea of Monsters. The sequel to The Lightning Thief. Really, the story is Percy and Annabeth and Tyson, no spoilers to who that is, are off to find Grover, who may have stumbled on the way to save Camp Half-Blood. You see, the tree that holds Phyla's spirit, or however the hell her name is pronounced, has been poisoned, and it's dying, and with it the camp is losing its boundary. And so they basically broke the rules, went out to find the Grover in the Sea of Monsters, you know, which is like the Aegean Sea. It used to be the Aegean, now it's the Bermuda Triangle, which is why so many things go missing there. It's because of the Greek elements and shit, which is something I really liked about this series. Is he just loves to tie in real world stuff with, you know, Greek stuff. But anyway, you know, it's kind of like, you know, the I had a bookmark in here. Okay, that'll be where I read from when I do the bit of the dramatic reading. It's the shortest book in the series. I've actually read this in a single day. And, really, it's really just... Actually, here I'll do the back. Percy Jackson's 7th grade year has been surprisingly quiet. Not a single monster has set foot on his New York prep school campus. But when an innocent game of dodgeball among Percy and his classmates turns into a death match against a gang of ugly cannibal giants, things get, well, ugly. And the unexpected arrival of his friend Annabeth brings more bad news. The magical borders that protect Camp Half-Blood have been poisoned by a mysterious enemy, and unless a cure is found, the only safe haven for demigods will be destroyed. Bullshit. In this fresh, funny, and wildly popular follow-up to The Lightning Thief, Percy and his friends must journey into the Sea of Monsters to save their camp. But first, Percy will discover a stunning new secret about his family, one that makes him question whether being claimed as Poseidon's son is an honor or simply a cruel joke. Aww. Anyway, you know, like I said, it's probably the least interesting of the series, to me at least. So without further ado, I'll read until my memory card fills. I want to go, Tyson said. No, Annabeth's voice sounded close to panic. I mean, Percy, come on, you know that's impossible. I wondered again why she had such a grudge against Cyclopses. There was something she wasn't telling me, so she and Tyson both looked at me, waiting for an answer. Meanwhile, the cruise ship was getting further and further away. The thing was, part of me didn't want Tyson along. I'd spent the last 3 days in close quarters with the guy, getting razzed by other campers and embarrassed a million times a day, constantly reminded that I was related to him. I needed some space. Plus, I didn't know how much help he'd be, or how I'd keep him safe. Plus, yeah, sure he was strong, but Tyson was a little kid, in Cyclops terms, maybe 7 or 8 years old mentally. I could see him freaking out and starting to cry while we were trying to sneak past a monster or something. He'd get us all killed. On the other hand, the sound of the harpies was getting closer. We can't leave him, I decided. Tantalus will punish him for us being gone. Percy, Annabeth said, trying to keep her cool. We're going to Polyphemus' island. Polyphemus is an S-I-K, C-Y-K. She stamped her foot in frustration. As smart as she was, Annabeth was dyslexic too. We would have been there all night while she tried to spell Cyclops. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Tyson can go, I insisted, if he wants to. Tyson clapped his hands. Want to? Annabeth gave me the evil eye, but I guess she could tell I wasn't going to change my mind, or maybe she just knew we didn't have time to argue. All right, she said. How do we get to that ship? Hermes said my father would help. Well then, Seaweed Brain, what are you waiting for? I'd always had a hard time calling on my father, or praying, or whatever you'd call it. But I stepped into the waves. Dad, I called. How's it going? Percy, Annabeth whispered. We're in a hurry. We need a little help, I called a little louder. We need to get to that ship, like, before we get eaten and stuff, so... At first nothing happened. Waves crashed against the shore like normal. The harpies sounded like they were right behind the sand dunes. Then about 100 yards out to sea, 3 white lines appeared on the surface. They moved fast towards the shore, like claws ripping through the ocean. As they neared the beach, the surf burst apart, and the heads of 3 white stallions reared out of the water. Tyson caught his breath. Fish ponies. He was right. The creatures pulled themselves onto the sand. I saw that they were only horses in the front. Their back halves were silvery fish bodies, with glistening scales and rainbow-tailed fins. Hippocampi, Annabeth said. They're beautiful. The nearest one whinnied in appreciation and nuzzled Annabeth. We'll admire them later, I said. Come on. There, a voice screeched behind us. Bad children, out of cabins. Snack time for lucky harpies. 5 of them were fluttering over the tops of the dunes, plump little hags with pinched faces and talons, and feathery wings too small for their bodies. They reminded me of miniature cafeteria ladies who'd been crossbred with dodo birds. They weren't very fast, thank the gods, but they were vicious if they caught you. Tyson, I said, grab a duffel bag. He was still staring at the hippocampe with his mouth hanging open. Tyson, come on. With Annabeth's help, I got him moving. We gathered the bags and mounted our steeds. Poseidon must have known Tyson was one of the passengers because one hippocampus was much larger than the other two. Just right for carrying a cyclops. Giddy up, I said. My hippocampus turned and plunged into the waves. If I'm pronouncing this wrong, please do not correct me because I really don't give a shit.